Hello my friends, Dave Schramm here of schrammguitars.com, and today we're going to continue with looking at how I detail the head on my H1A model classical guitars. Let's go check it out. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is lay out this edge right here of the crest of the guitar, and I'll just take my square, just like that, and I draw that line that's there. So right now it's kind of rounded over here and here from my template from the router table jig. So I'm just going to make that a little bit crisper there in the outline. So that's my first step. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the square and a razor knife and score that edge. Okay. Now I have my square set to about 5/8 of an inch here, and I'm going to use this one because I already drew it on here. Well, it might be easier to see. See that line right there and there? That goes with the line here. I draw that on the front, on each side, and the back here. There's a little line there and there. And then what I do, I take this knife here. Now this knife is very special. I've had this since about, oh gosh, I may have been 3rd or 4th grade when I was doing wood carving, and a friend from church named Norman Michaels, who was a wood carver, handmade this knife for me. So I've had this, well, probably for at least 50 years. So anyhow, little history on this knife. So then what I did is I look at that line, and I put the edge of the knife there, and then I look at the other edge there where it lines up, and I just kind of score it. Now I have a line there. That's going to make it easier for when I carve into that line. So I do that on both sides. So now you're going to see me actually, since I have this laid out, I'm now going to carve it. So I'm going to take this chisel, line it up with that line that I scored. Get a little bit deeper there. And I'm just going to gradually work my way to that. That's looking pretty good. You can see that squared up there a little bit. So I'll use sanding sticks and files to kind of clean that up. So I'm going to do that on the other edge. Lining up my mark. Don't want to go too deep on this part. As I've scored the line, there we go. There's that edge. Now I'm going to clean that up a little bit more with a sanding stick. So now I'm going to score this one right here, that edge. You already saw me do that with the knife. preserving that little radius that was there on both sides. I'm trying to get this in the camera. I'm not sure because I'm not behind the camera. There we go. And then I'm going to take this. This makes it a little bit easier with this knife here. There we go. So there, it's scored there. Let's see if I can clean that up a little bit here on the camera. Take my knife. There we go. Not too bad. I'll clean up some of that with a file. So right there is the score line. About a little bit less than a 1/16 of an inch away there. There we go. So there, that edge is cleaned up. So now it's not final yet. What I'm going to do now is just take some files and scrapers and kind of clean that up. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take some files. I have a variety of them here. Find what works for you. And sometimes I use a hand scraper, but what really works good are these Work Pro razor blades. I use a fresh one as a hand scraper, and this gets a really sharp edge. Now, I've already done a little bit of work with the files, fine-tuning the edges, but now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this scraper and I'm just gonna scrape this just like I would a regular scraper. Don't press too hard. You don't need a lot of pressure here. And it's just kind of polishing this a little bit, getting rid of any sanding and file marks. Lets me get right into that edge. So what I'll do is I'll work this a little bit with the razor blade, get that crisp edge. I'll show you a close-up of that. So here's my razor blade. Again, you want to use a fresh one on this because that's going to give you the best results. So I'll show you what I've got so far. There we go. Okay. One thing I thought I'd mention is to get it looking really crisp, use a paper towel, put some water on it, and you can raise the grain on this. And then I'm going to use the razor blade scraper. I get these in the, I think it's the 100 pack off Amazon. The brand is Work Pro. So now with it wet like that, I'm gonna get a really nice finish off this. And you won't even need to use any sandpaper or anything. It'll be perfect right off of this. So that's my little pro tip, is to raise the grain with some water. You might have to do it a few times. That's fine. It's well worth it to get that really nice, crisp look to the head on your guitar. Even if you don't do this Torres Hauser style head, whatever you're using, this'll help. There we go. Hope you could see that. Let's take another look at it. Now, it's still wet, so you're not going to see how crisp it is, but you've seen some of the wetness on there. But you can see a little bit smoother there. Yeah, that side's starting to dry. So it gets a nice scraped look on the head of the guitar. That's my pro tip. Hey, thanks for watching this video on how I do the detailing on the crest of the head on my H1A model guitars. Everyone have a great day. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.